Joining me now is Democratic California Congressman Eric Swalwell. Congressman Swalwell, good evening to you. Why is this issue top of mind for Democrats now?
Well, Laura, actually, in July of 2019, I called on then Labor Secretary Andrew Acosta to resign for his role in the sweetheart deal for Jeffrey Epstein. So I've always been on this. I know the Oversight Committee under Elijah Cummings, the late Elijah Cummings, they were covering this. And the way Democrats are approaching this now is, well, you were promised, is the public, that these files would be released by Donald Trump. Pam Bondi said that she had the client list on her desk, and now they're buried deep beneath the earth. So if the Republicans are not up for subpoenaing these files, we will do their job, because transparency has to be key. And the American people want to know who should be held accountable for these acts of child sex trafficking.
You know, some Republicans, Congressman, have signed on to an effort to force a vote in the House aimed at releasing fully the Epstein files. Do you expect those Republicans to truly stay committed to that effort?
We don't need that many of them. So it's called a discharge petition. Probably the worst name in any legislative terms that we have. But here's how it works. If 218 people, that's a majority in Congress, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, sign up to try and advance a bill, it has to receive a vote. Now, it has to, quote, ripen, which means it's going to take a couple weeks before it has to come for a vote on the floor. But you only need, because the margins are so thin, just a few Republicans. And I think there's 7 Republicans so far. So if all 212 Democrats, and I will do this, sign up to release the files, you have enough votes to release the files. And then it's really on the president as to whether he's going to honor the will of a majority of the Congress.
An important point, obviously, given that there is a request to have grand jury testimony released, but that is just a fraction of the overall file that is potentially there. We're talking about the Epstein case more broadly. You have the Senate Judiciary Committee ranking Democrat, Dick Durbin. He wrote a letter to the Attorney General saying that his office was told that FBI personnel were instructed to flag any records in which President Trump was mentioned in the Epstein files. Now, you serve on the House Judiciary Committee. Have you heard anything similar? And what's your reaction to that claim?
Well, it would explain to me why Donald Trump is willing to throw his supporters overboard to keep these files buried. And we are also open to and ready to receive any whistleblower testimony from folks at the Department of Justice, whether it's lawyers, FBI agents who have knowledge of what's going on over there. But Laura, let me just flip this for a second. If you're Donald Trump and you have Elon Musk saying that you're in the files, and Mick Mulvaney, your former chief of staff, saying you're in the files, and Michael Wolff, your biographer, saying that you're not just in the files, but there's some pretty disturbing things that you did with these underage girls, wouldn't you want to clear your name? And so to me, an innocent person would do everything to get those files out there to show that the allegations are not true. And I think that's why his supporters are scratching their heads and saying, why won't he show us these files?
Congressman, today, Trump's longtime ally, Steve Bannon, said that he predicts the tide will turn back in Trump's favor because the Wall Street Journal's body letter report saying, and he told CNN, we are finally on offense. President Trump has had enough and is fighting back against his real enemies. Do you have any concerns that article...
Laura, it's just absurd, right? I mean, the Wall Street Journal is his enemy. The Wall Street Journal is owned by Rupert Murdoch, who owns Fox News, who has for the last 10 years done everything to help Donald Trump. So now, because he doesn't like reporting from the Wall Street Journal, they are now lumped in with the New York Times and other agencies that he perceives as liberal. It's just crazy when you step back and look at the way he frames this, which is if you're against him, you are a part of the hoax. The Wall Street Journal is a conservative newspaper, period.
Do you have concerns that the voting public who wanted him to release all the files, who believed him when he says the media is the enemy and that there is a deep state, do you have concerns that that train cannot come back to the station now that he has planted those seeds?
No, my concern is that Donald Trump will keep these files buried. I don't believe his supporters are going away. In the MAGA movement, if the MAGA movement was a cake, the Epstein files are the flour, and he's telling them to make a cake without flour. And they're saying, no, that's not how it works. We were promised that we would have all of these files. And so we're going to get them. Democrats will do the work Republicans aren't willing to do. And if Republicans don't join us and subpoena the files, we can promise that in a Democratic majority, we will get them, and we will get them without, any protection of anyone who's in them. Like, to me, this is about transparency more than protecting any individual. And right now, it looks like the individual who wants to be most protected is Donald Trump.
Congressman Eric Swalwell, thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks, Laura.